Hi. I observed that a lot of people are worried about the outbreak of the coronavirus. So I thought I'm going to share with you 5 easy steps that you can do to cultivate the anti-coronavirus mindset. In order to explain you that, I'm going to use a very simple technique. I'm going to make 2 columns, and on the left column, I'm going to share with you what kind of mindset is actually not helping us. I call that the pro-virus mindset. And on the second column, I'm going to share with you all the tactics that you can use to cultivate an antivirus mindset. So, the first thing you can do, or that we have to become aware of, is that what is really not helpful, and it's always nice to look at what is not helpful, is if we cultivate an attitude of avoidance. Okay? That we say it's not so dangerous, that we say, okay, it's maybe just, it will go away, that you don't want to take a look at it. And I learned that myself with my personal story fighting pancreatic cancer. The first step to overcome a crisis and to actually become active is acceptance. We have to accept that this is now a new reality, and a smarter way to deal with this is to think about what we can do rather than say, no, I don't want to take a look at it. Now, accepting a situation as we are in now with the coronavirus, it's not easy. Why? Because it makes us emotional, which brings us to the second point. Like, a lot of people are worrying. And I completely understand that. Why? Because it's human. It's human that if a new threat is coming into our lives, that we are scared. It's human that we are overwhelmed. Now, the problem with worrying is that it's somehow a praying for what we don't want. It's putting our focus on the outcome that we want to avoid. What is, rather than a much more constructive approach to the situation than worrying, is trusting. Okay, so that's easy to write. You say, Martin, now you just write down trust and everything will be fine. But the virus is still here. Yes, I know. So let me do a little example, because this is something you cannot change just by thinking it through. If you're watching this video at this moment and you're a bit freaked out or you're a bit anxious about the situation, just stay with me for one moment. Close your eyes, like I do, and try to focus on your eyelids, okay? Just stay with me. Close your eyes. Focus on your eyelids and focus how heavy they are. Make them really soft. And if you're alone, don't do this in public or when you're around people at this moment. If you're alone, take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just repeat that 2-3 times. And just focus on how the eyelids are heavy, how your face is soft, the cheeks. You breathe in, you breathe out. Maybe the head becomes heavy, you calm down. One last breath. Then slowly we open the eyes again. Now maybe you observe a little change in your whole system, in your body. So let me explain to you scientifically what we just did. When we are worrying, we induce a stress response in our mind and in our body. We think about a negative outcome that is stressful, and so we release different hormones. One of them is cortisol. Cortisol is an interesting hormone. It's not feeling so nice most of the time, and it has a very dramatic side effect. It reduces the power of our immune system. Now, what we did in these 2-3 deep breaths together is we're reducing cortisol. We are relaxing the system. We are bringing back an equilibrium within us. And so imagine now 7 billion people would watch this video and do this exercise. Probably we would remove hectoliters of cortisol out of the bodies. Now, why is this important? Because cortisol, as I said before, is reducing the effectiveness of our immune system. So by trusting and finding a way to relax, it's not just giving us a peace of mind, it's actually also having an effect on our immunity. So finding trust and cultivating trust is really, really important in a moment of a crisis, because when you're worried, you probably make wrong decisions and you're not able to combat in an effective way as you would like to. Now, the next point that I want to discuss with you has to do something with the group and with the individual. So a pro-virus mindset focuses on the ego. I observed that a lot, especially in men and male, that I hear often in the last days, yes, I will get ill, and it's not so dangerous, and I'm strong, and that could be true, and probably you're right. But you have to understand that at this moment, statistically speaking, most of the people who got infected are people between 20 and 50 years old. But the people who die from it are 60, 70, 80 years old. So if you're in this cohort and you say, yes, I'm strong, I'm just focusing on myself, you have to understand that you endanger somebody else. We don't do what we do now to protect us, let's call it young people. We do it for the people who are in danger. So we have to really shift our mindset from ego to we go together, okay? So we don't do what we do just for ourselves. We have to find a group, collective intelligence to cope with the situation we are in. That's very, very important. And it's not surprising that the men have more troubles to do that, because for us, it still seems to be tricky to show that we also can be vulnerable. But I really think it's now the moment to leave that behind and say, okay, we do it for the group. Now, the next point, number 4 out of 5, I want to discuss with you, and it's one that goes very close to my heart, because I also observed that in other areas of my life and in the workshops I give, is the difference between knowing and doing. So at this moment, you probably get bombarded with a lot of information what you should do. Like there are videos, dance videos, how to wash your hands, then you have posters, then you have radio shows, then you have leaflets, you have like a lot of information. Now, what do you do with that? Those information, it doesn't work if you don't apply it. Now, I want to show you a very funny example from yesterday's news show here in Switzerland in the national TV. So what you see here is a screenshot from a scientist. He's a specialist in epidemiology and a professional TV presenter. And the news they had to communicate in this part of the news show was that we have to take very serious the new instructions how to behave and how to interact with each other. And one of the new rules is that we should keep a distance to each other of at least 2 meters. Now look at the picture. Look how close they are. They're probably approximately 1 meter apart from each other. The information they have to transmit is keep the distance, and while they're presenting the information, they are actually too close. And I don't show you this example to finger point and say, this is a bad journalism, which it is, or to say like, okay, these two people did something wrong. I show you this example to exemplify something else. It is really hard to break a habit. You see, this studio probably was built 5 or 10 years ago, and always and all the time the people and the guests were standing in this formation. So it's really hard to see that and to observe that actually this is the habit how we always did it. Now, if we want to battle the virus and if we want to be smarter than the virus, we have to pay attention about our habits. We have to change them. We have to do something about it. We have to become aware of it. And it's something we have also to be patient with ourselves. We have to take a look like, okay, what can we do? When do I do it? And why don't I do it? And just be aware that it takes some time for the mind shift. But it's possible, and I believe that everybody of us can do it. Which brings us to the last point, number 5. So we have to ask ourselves the question, do we want to play it stupid, or do we want to play it smart? By stupid, I mean that we just insist on what we know, of how we did stuff all the time, that we want to be right. On smart, I say that we are open, we are curious, we are not freaking out, but we do what we are able to do because we know that every little step can make a change. And this is the interesting thing, because now you have actually a choice. On which side are you? Are you on the stupid side, just to have a right and have like saying, yeah, I always said so? Or are you on the smart side? And you have to ask yourself 2 questions. What do you lose if you're staying on this side and you were right? And in 1 month, the virus is away and everything is back to normal? Probably not much. What will you lose if you stay on this side and you were wrong? You see? The second question you have to ask yourself is like, how much does it cost you to move from this side to this side? It's for free. It's for free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to invest anything. The only thing you have to do is to become aware of it and make a little mind shift. Because in the end, I strongly believe that this whole thing is an opportunity for us, like an experiment, to see, are we able, as a collective humanity, to make a behavioral change and to become smarter than the virus, to actually embrace the situation and stay together rather than finger pointing at each other and say, no, we cannot do anything. I really hope that this video was somehow insightful. If you have other tactics to cultivate anti-coronavirus mindset, please write it in the comments below. And if you think it is helpful, share the video, because if it just changes the mindset and one behavior of one person, it was worth it. So, sending you all my best wishes out there, and let's stay together. Bye-bye.